Two men, same age. Yet most people, without thinking, would assume they belong to completely different generations. And it's not because of their facial features. It's something far more subtle. Something your brain processes instantly, before you're even aware of it. Hair. Now what's interesting is this. The difference isn't just whether someone is losing hair or not. It's how much that changes the way we perceive their entire face, their age, even their presence. And in this video, we're going to break down exactly why that happens, and why small changes in hair can completely shift how someone is seen. The human brain is constantly making rapid judgments, not just about who someone is, but how old they are, how healthy they are, and even how strong they might be. And the interesting part is, most of that happens before we're even consciously aware of it. One of the strongest visual signals the brain uses in this process is hair. Because hair isn't just decoration, it's a biological signal. When the brain sees dense, evenly distributed hair, it tends to associate that with youth, energy, and health. But when it sees recession, thinning, or reduced density, it doesn't analyze it logically, it simplifies it. It categorizes it as aging. And this is where something important happens. It's not just the presence or absence of hair that matters, it's the contrast it creates with the face. Because hair frames the face, and when that frame changes, everything inside it is perceived differently. A slight recession in the hairline, a reduction in density at the temples, even small shifts can subtly change how the entire face is interpreted. And the brain doesn't treat these changes equally. It exaggerates them because it's trying to make a fast decision, not an accurate one. This is why hair has such a strong influence on perceived age, even when everything else about the person stays exactly the same.
But here's where the picture gets more complicated, because hair alone doesn't define how old someone looks. And this is something most people get wrong when they think about aging and appearance. The brain doesn't judge age from a single feature. It builds a full composite image using multiple signals at once. Facial structure is one of the biggest ones. A strong jawline, defined cheekbones, and balanced proportions can hold a younger visual impression, even when hair density is reduced. Skin quality is another major factor. Smoothness, elasticity, and overall clarity can significantly influence perceived age, sometimes more than hair itself. And then there's grooming. Beard style, haircut choice, and how someone maintains their appearance all change how the brain categorizes them. Even posture and body language play a role. Someone who carries themselves with confidence and relaxed control is often perceived as younger and more energetic, compared to someone with the same features but lower presence. And this is why two people with similar levels of hair loss can look completely different. One might still be perceived as youthful, while the other is interpreted as significantly older, not because of hair alone, but because of how all these signals combine in the brain's final judgment.
Perception isn't fixed. What most people don't realize is this. The brain doesn't form a permanent judgment of how someone looks. It's constantly updating it. And those updates can happen from extremely small visual changes. A slight shift in hair density, a change in how the hair frames the face, or even subtle differences in lighting and angle. And suddenly, the brain reevaluates the entire person. Not just their hair, but how old they seem, how healthy they appear, even their presence. What's important here is that this isn't a gradual process. It doesn't slowly adjust over time. It updates instantly, almost like refreshing a label. And that's why the same person can be perceived differently depending on context. A photo, a mirror, or a camera angle. And in many cases, hair is the strongest trigger for that update.
So what we've seen in this video is simple. Hair isn't just a cosmetic detail. It can have a surprisingly large impact on how age, vitality, and appearance are perceived. And because of that, small changes in hair can create much larger changes in perception than most people realize. But here's the important part. This isn't about insecurity.
It's about understanding how perception works. Because once you understand the signals people respond to, you start seeing hair differently. And that raises an interesting question. If hair can change perception this much, when does hair loss actually begin? Because most people don't notice it when it starts. They notice it when the visual changes become obvious. But by then, the process may have been developing for years. So in the next videos, we're going to break down the earliest signs of hair loss, what's actually happening beneath the surface, and which solutions are backed by evidence. If that sounds useful, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.